Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna. Enunciating text 16 and text 17 of chapter 1, questions by Vidura of 3rd canto, the status quo of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 16. Swayam dhanur dwari nidhaya mayam bhratuh puro marmasu tadito api sa itth matyulbana karnabaणाir gata vyatho ayaduru manayanah. Thus being pierced by arrows through his ears and afflicted to the core of his heart, Vidur placed his bow on the door and quit his brother's palace. He was not sorry, for he considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme. A pure devotee of the Lord is never perturbed by an awkward position created by the external energy of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 3.27, it is stated, Prakruteha kriyamanani gunaiha karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. A conditioned soul is absorbed in material existence under the influence of different modes of external energy. Absorbed in the false ego, he thinks that he is doing everything by himself. The external energy of the Lord, the material nature, is fully under the control of the Supreme Lord, and the conditioned soul is fully under the grip of the external energy. Therefore, the conditioned soul is fully under the control of the law of the Lord. But due to illusion only, he thinks himself independent in his activities. Duryodhana was acting under such influence of the external nature by which he would be vanquished at the ultimate end. He could not accept the sound advice of Vidur, but on the contrary, he insulted that great soul who was the well-wisher of his whole family. Vidur could understand this because he was a pure devotee of the Lord. In spite of being very strongly insulted by Duryodhana's words, Vidur could see that Duryodhana, under the influence of Maya, the external energy, was making progress on the path toward his own ruination. He therefore considered the acts of the external energy to be supreme. Yet he also saw how the internal energy of the Lord helped him in that particular situation. A devotee is always in a renounced temperament because the worldly attractions can never satisfy him. Vidur was never attracted by the royal palace of his brother. He was always ready to leave the place and devote himself completely to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Now he got the opportunity by the grace of Duryodhana, and instead of being sorry by the strong words of insult, he thanked him from within because it gave him a chance to live alone in the holy places and fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. The word Gata Vyatho, without being sorry, is significant here because Vidur was relieved from the tribulations which trouble every man entangled in material activities. He therefore thought that there was no need to defend his brother with his bow because his brother was meant for ruination. Thus he left the palace before Duryodhana could act. Maya, the supreme energy of the Lord, acted here both internally and externally. Text 17. Sa nirgatah kaurava punya labdho gajaha vayat tirtha pada padani anva kramat punya chikirasha yorvyam adhishthito yani sahasra murti. By his pity, Vidur achieved the advantages of the pious Kauravas. After leaving Hastinapur, he took shelter of many places of pilgrimages which are the Lord's lotus feet. With a desire to gain a high order of pious life, he travelled to holy places where thousands of transcendental forms of the Lord are situated. Vidur was undoubtedly a highly elevated and pious soul, otherwise he would not have taken his birth in the Kaurava family. To have high parentage, to possess wealth, to be highly learned, and to have great personal beauty are all due to past pious acts. But such pious possessions are not sufficient for obtaining the grace of the Lord and being engaged in his transcendental loving service. Vidur considered himself less pious, and therefore he decided to travel to all the great places of pilgrimage in the world in order to achieve greater pity and advance nearer to the Lord. At that time, Lord Krishna was personally present in the world. Vidur could have at once approached him directly, but he did not do so because he was not sufficiently freed from sins. One cannot be 100% devoted to the Lord unless and until he is completely free from all effects of sin. Vidur was conscious that by the association of the diplomatic Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, he had lost his pity and was therefore not fit to associate at once with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.28, this is confirmed in the following verse. येषां त्व अंतगतं पापम जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वंद्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः. Persons who are sinful asuras like Kansa and Jarasandha cannot think of Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. Only those who are pure devotees, those who follow the regulative principles of religious life as prescribed in the scriptures, are able to engage themselves in Karma Yoga and then Jnana Yoga, and thereafter by pure meditation can understand pure consciousness. When God consciousness is developed, one can take advantage of the association of pure devotees. Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punya Tirtha Nishevanat. One is able to associate with the Lord even during the existence of this life. Places of pilgrimages are meant for eradicating the sins of the pilgrims, and they are distributed all over the universe just to give facility to all concerned for attaining pure existence and God realization. One should not be satisfied, however, merely by visiting the places of pilgrimage and performing one's prescribed duties. He should be eager to meet the great souls who are already there, engaged in the service of the Lord. In each and every place of pilgrimage, the Lord is present in his various transcendental forms. These forms are called Archa Murtis, or forms of the Lord, which can be easily appreciated by the common man. The Lord is transcendental to our mundane senses. He cannot be seen with our present eyes, nor can he be heard with our present ears. To the degree that we have entered into the service of the Lord, or to the proportion to which our lives are freed from sins, we can perceive the Lord. But even though we are not free from sins, the Lord is kind enough to allow us the facility of seeing him in his Archa Murtis in the temple. The Lord is all powerful, and therefore he is able to accept our service by presentation of his Archa form. No one therefore should foolishly think that Archa form in the temple to be an idol. Such an Archa Murti is not an idol but the Lord himself, and to the proportion to which one is free from sins, he is able to know the significance of the Archa Murtis. The guidance of a pure devotee is therefore always required. In the land of Bharatvarsha, there are many hundreds and thousands of places of pilgrimage distributed all over the country, and by traditional practice, the common man visits such holy places during all seasons of the year. Some of the Archa representations of the Lord situated in different places of pilgrimage are mentioned herewith. The Lord is present at Mathura, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, as Adi Keshava. The Lord is present at Puri, Orissa, as Lord Jagannath, also known as Purushottama. He is present at Allahabad, Prayag, as Bindu Madhav. At Mandara Hill, he is known as Madhusudana. In the Anandaranya, he is known as Vasudev, Padmanabh and Janardhan. At Vishnu Kanchi, he is known as Vishnu. And at Mayapur, he is known as Hari. There are millions and billions of such Archa forms of the Lord distributed all over the universe. All these Archa Murtis are summarized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the following words. Sarvatra Prakasha Tandra Bhakte Sukhadite Jagatera Adharmanashi Dharmasthapite. The Lord has so distributed himself all over the universe just to give pleasure to the devotees, to give the common man facility to eradicate from sins and to establish religious principles in the world. Hari Krishna.